latest really cool product from the Solix brand at Anker. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Anker Innovations is USPR Manager Emeline Bonnefoy. Hi,
Hi,
Emeline.
Fred. Hi, Fred. How are you?
Terrific. Good to see you once again, and just in time for outdoor picnicking, camping, or trips to the beach, maybe. You're out with a
Yep,
brand new
absolutely.
line of EverFrost coolers. No ice needed. Give us the overview here.
Yes, so this is our second generation of electric cooler. We launched the first generation about 2 years ago, and we've made a few upgrades compared to the first generation. So still the same concept. So electric cooler, meaning it's powered based, no ice needed. It has a battery that you can remove that works as a power bank, and it's this battery that can power the cooler. Three different size for every use case. We have a 23 liter, a 40 liter, and for the ones that like to go camping for a very long period of time or like to bring a lot of food and a lot of drinks, we have our 58 liters. The 58 comes with two different compartments, one that you can keep things frozen on one side, and then the other you can keep things cool. And so yeah, electric cooler. um, One of the major updates compared to the first generation is how we keep things cool. We've added a new technology proper to Anker called the frost flow technology. It's a big word for something that is super simple, meaning that we cool the air inside the cooler first, which reduce the cooling time by a lot. So you can keep your drinks cool in under 15 to 20 minutes, which can be pretty useful if it's warm outside.
It does a good job in evening out the cooling throughout the compartment rather than it being colder on the bottom than on the top. Tell us how you
Exactly.
accomplish
Yeah.
that.
Yes. No, that's exactly it compared to the first version. And I can give you a very specific example. So our team and I have been doing a lot of outdoor events. So we've been testing the cooler a lot. We've been using the first generation for over 2 years, and we've been keeping our drinks inside the cooler. And we've been using this cooler to even showcase it to event attendees. And by doing that, a lot of people were coming by and then stopping, opening the cooler, closing it. So our drinks never stayed really cool because of that. Well, last weekend, I was actually in Orlando. It was about 80 degrees outside. And let me tell you, this new cooler was a game changer. Our drinks were cool at all time, even though visitors kept opening back and forth the cooler, because the inside of the cooler is cold, but the air for the first generation was never really cold. And so with this one, all of the inside, no matter if it's like on the left corner, bottom, or the right top corner, like everything has the same temperature, which is really helpful, especially if you keep, like, I don't know, frozen meat, for example, that needs to be kept at a consistent temperature.
Really handy. And we should point out that people can use this as a refrigerator or as a freezer. And you mentioned the two compartments in the largest model, so they could work independently. And that's really important because you might be going to the supermarket, for instance, or stopping someplace that has this terrific ice cream and you want to bring it home. This really allows you to do it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So the two models that we have, the 23 and the 40 liter, have one compartment, but you can select only one temperature, obviously, but you can select the temperature from -4 Fahrenheit degrees to +62 Fahrenheit degrees. So in your example, you can select the temperature, let's say on the way to the grocery store, you select the temperature at 32 or 30 if you know that you're going to buy that ice cream that you mentioned, and then you go purchase it, and then you just put in your car, and everything is already at the right temperature. And then in the case of the one that has the dual compartment, you can either keep the two compartment to cool things or select different temperature for each, because the two compartments are separated. So you have two leads to open them, and then yes, you can select different temperatures for each side.
And also there are many instances where you don't want food, produce, for example, to freeze. So you can just keep it at the right temperature, very easily selectable. And it can work with an app as well.
Yes, it works with the Anker app. So through the Anker app, you'll see the battery remainings, but you can also select the temperature directly through the app. It also had different modes actually. It has a mode that you can, a max mode, an eco mode. So for example, if you know that you're gonna be out of your campsite for a long period of time, and you want to make sure that when you come back, your drinks or your food is still cold, you can select an eco mode. That's something that can be pretty useful for users.
Just terrific. So what is the battery life like?
So the battery inside the cooler is a 280 watt hour. So if you keep, let's say, if you keep your what's inside the cooler at a temperature of 40 Fahrenheit degrees, you'll be able to keep the cooler running for up to 52 hours, which is longer than our previous model. Something else that you can do with this new generation, users can purchase a second battery, and the cooler can last up to over 100 hours.
Wow, so great for that camping trip when there's no outlet available. But of course, Anker's got Solix batteries that could handle that too. But
Yes.
that's another story. Just terrific stuff.
Well, what's really nice too is that you can keep that same battery for other things too. On the side of the battery, it has two ports. So you have a USB-A port and a USB-C port. So you can charge small devices like phone, computers, camera gear, anything that you might need during a camping trip.
Great. Well, you mentioned the different sizes that are available. Tell us about some of the accessories. And
Yes.
there's some things that are just built in, like this handy tray that you have.
Yes, it has a tray. That it can be really useful because it can work as a cutting board, but something else as well. You can use the tray as a handle to carry the cooler. The cooler has two wheels, and then you can use that handle to carry it around. It also has a bottle opener on the side. So those two things are what we kept from the first generation. And we also heard a lot of feedback from the users of our first generation to also make some improvement. So users can now purchase that additional battery that I just mentioned. And we're also launching a few additional kits. One that has a one that has a can holder that can be useful if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have anywhere to leave your bottles or cans or anything like that. We're also offering an extra table that you can just attach to the cooler to have more room if you're using the cooler to cut your food or anything like that, or make your sandwiches, so that can be useful on that end. And we're also offering a knife holder as well. And then the last thing is that we've heard that the wheels of the first generation, the wheels that come up with the EverFrost, are really great, but then there's some places that you might be using the cooler to. So let's say you're by the ocean and then you're picnicking. It can be quite hard sometimes to take the cooler out with you on the beach. So we've been creating beach wheels as well.
So beach wheels are available for it. That's an accessory that people
Yes,
can buy.
yes, yeah.
So tell us about pricing and availability.
So the three coolers come with three different prices, different depending on the site. So the three size, the 23 liter is not available yet, is launching in May, but the 40 and 58 liters are already available for an MSRP of $8.99 for the 40 and $1,099 for the 58 liters. And users can purchase that additional battery for about $200. And then the three different kits. So we have a road trip kit, a hook-on tray, and the wheels that I mentioned that are between $60 to $100 for each kit.
Just terrific, and of course you have a variety of ways to plug this in. We've
Yes.
mentioned the battery, but you can plug this into a wall outlet at home, wherever you happen to be, at a hotel, maybe even, so you don't have to open that little refrigerator and be charged an arm and a leg. And also you can plug it in the car, right?
Yes, and then you also have another way to charge it with portable solar panels as well. It supports 100 watts of solar, so you can connect a small 100-watt solar panels, and you can charge the battery and keep your EverFrost charged for an even longer period of time. One thing that is also nice that you mentioned about the hotel, so taking back the example when I was in Orlando last weekend and I was charging the battery of the EverFrost. Well, I charge it in my hotel with the wall outlet, but with the battery that is detachable, I just took with me the battery and not the big unit. And it's super convenient because it's a super small battery. It's super light. You just take it with you, you plug in the wall outlet, and in just a few hours, it's all charged already.
Terrific. For more info, the best place to go.
Ankersolix.com.
It's Anker, Anker, Solix, Solix.com.
Yep.
Emeline Bonnefoy, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you, Fred. Always a pleasure.